Hey, welcome back, Jones, to another video. As you see, guys, we have the ranking list here. We're gonna rank all the vehicles at tier 1. Armored vehicles, wheeled vehicles, tanks, all of them at this list. Now, in the future, we'll have also tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And it's gonna be only tanks. So it's not gonna be the jets and helicopters. It will be separated because, come on, I cannot compare a tank to a jet. That's not logic. So before we start everything, I need to make everything clear, such as the S rank is going to be for the overpowered or breaking the balance of the game, such as in the old updates we have the toss, but right now it's not overpowered or something like that, breaking the balance. So this is the first thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know, that is, if I rank a vehicle at tier A and the second one at tier B, that doesn't mean the tier A is gonna beat the other one in 1v versus 1. Such as, like if I ranked Abrams X at tier A and I ranked let's say Challenger 2 at tier B, it doesn't mean that Abrams X is gonna win over the Challenger 2. So after all being said, I just want to make it more clear for you guys so you understand how I'm gonna rank all the vehicles. Now, after all, this is according to my opinion. Of course, if you have your opinion, feel free to share it with us, guys, in the comments. So after all being said, let's get started. Now, first vehicle in our list is BTR-80. This vehicle has 50% damage reduction except the turret, but the turret is so small so it's not noticeable and it will not be hit so many times. The second thing, that it has a drone that has 2 missiles. Once you purchase the tank, the drone will be automatically added, so you don't need to unlock the drone. That means you already have 10,000 damage acquired by just using the drone. The 2 missiles, each one will make 5,000 damage. That's really great. Now, the downside of this vehicle, that it has a machine gun, so the machine gun cannot penetrate everything. You need to upgrade a lot, and even after upgrading, it will not be really effective enough because the penetration of the machine gun is not so much high. So I thought about this vehicle, and it is wheeled vehicle, and you guys know how much I hate wheeled vehicles. So according to my list, or what I think, in my opinion, I put it in not useless, not bad. That's the best category I could add this vehicle to. I mean, 100 bullets in the machine gun, in the clip, it will not be enough to destroy a vehicle. Yes, it has a good reload, but still, it needs a little bit more. Now, let's move next. We have SU-152 Taran. This vehicle has a really packing gun with a great penetration. It can fight at tier 2 and even at tier 3. It has also a drone, but the downsides are so many, such as it doesn't has a 50% damage reduction, and the armor is almost non-existent, and it doesn't has a machine gun to intercept any jets and helicopters to make them scared and run away from you. And also the turret is located in the back, so it's gonna struggle if anyone of the enemy team surrounding you. So, and also the mobility is not helping you a lot, so it's gonna be a real struggle to do great in it. So you have to know some knowledge of the game. I don't recommend you, if you are a beginner, to buy this vehicle, but overall I will rank it in okay and workable category because it is just okay, not really strong, not really weak overall. Of course, the gun is really amazing, but that is all it has, nothing else. You have to play it really cautious. That's why I put it in okay, workable category, C rank. Let's move on. ZSU-57-2. This anti-aircraft at tier 1, it has a really packing damage, and it has, let's say, a burst damage, so it can destroy any jet or helicopter in just a few seconds if the jet or helicopter passed by you or above you. So the vehicle also can fight the ground target, but you have to know some few things, such as where is the weak points. So it's really a great vehicle in the hands of pro that understand the game very well. So it's overall, it's a really great tank, and it has a 50% damage reduction, but only on the turret, but also the ammo rack is located in the turret, so it's gonna be really easy to be destroyed. That's why I put it in okay, workable category. Now why I put it over there? Because it has the potential of fighting this guy and the ground target also. That's why I put it in this category. So it's gonna be in the C rank. Next we have PT-76B. This vehicle has a decent gun and good mobility, but it lacks of the armor, and also it doesn't have a 50% damage reduction. And even if it has mobility and you're gonna do the, you know, circling the target, but as you're moving you have to hit your target. That is really struggle for you, and also it doesn't has anything that's unique about this vehicle. So I put it in the bad category, E rank. I think we all agree on that. This vehicle is just useless. Why would you buy this vehicle? So guys, let's move on. I don't want to talk about this vehicle, as you see in the video. Let's move on. M42A1. This anti-aircraft at tier 1, it shares the same futuristic of the ZSU-57. Also, it has the 50% damage reduction on the turret, same as the ZSU-57. It has also the possibility of firing at the jets and helicopters, and also the ground target after knowledging where the weak points of the tanks. Now, which one is better? Of course, this one is better than the ZSU-57 because it has a little bit of better arc of the guns. That's all. So it is the same category, okay, workable, C rank. WZ-501A. This vehicle has 50% damage reduction, so it can sustain in the battlefield, and after upgrading it a little bit more, it can even sustain more in the battlefield, so it can be really reliable. It has a machine gun. You can intercept jets, helicopters, and even tanks by just doing the strategy of surrounding the enemy tank and firing on the sides and the rear of the enemy tank. This strategy will maximize your damage because after all, it carry only a machine gun, not a real gun, so it cannot penetrate everything. So you have to play it really cautious and with the knowledge. Playing surrounding enemy vehicle, this is the best strategy for you. So I put it in okay, workable category because I think it's really fun vehicle, but once it leaves the tier 1 and tier 2, it will be really useless. So it's really decent vehicle, really fun, and it needs a little bit of care to be really strong because it also has a double feed system. You can increase the fire rate of this machine gun. It will be a really beast. So let's move on. BTR-80A. This vehicle, once you purchase it, you don't unlock any drones. Yes, it has a drone, but you don't unlock it immediately, unlike the BTR-80 that can be unlocked immediately. So you might say, okay, this vehicle is worse than BTR-80, so it should be in the bad rank or not bad, something like that. No guys, this vehicle, after you upgrade it and make a lot of effort on it, it can do a really good job because it has at MK3 gun that can fire 189 millimeters of penetration, so it's really amazing. And also the clip is 150 instead of 100, so this is also amazing thing about the vehicle. And it's same as BTR-80, of course, it has a 50% damage reduction, but overall I think this vehicle deserves a better place than the BTR-80. This vehicle has much more potential after upgrading it, and it can do a really good job, but after all, it's just a machine gun, and after it leaves tier 1 and tier 2, it can do nothing. That is the problem of this vehicle. But as we said, taking care of this vehicle can pay off and be a strong vehicle. So I put it in okay, workable category, and let's move on. LAV 150, or let's say LAV 150. This vehicle has a decent machine gun, and it has drone, and it has a 50% damage reduction except the turret. So it's just a fun vehicle. If you compare it with the LAV 25, I think LAV 25 wins in overall because it has double feed system and it has a better penetration as a start at MK1, and even at MK3 it has a better penetration with only 1 millimeter. Yeah, but still it's better. So if you have LAV 25, this vehicle will become, I mean, not really a good choice to buy it. But surprisingly, even if it is wheeled vehicle, same as LAV, because it is small and not really tall, you can drive it easily. It's not really difficult to drive this vehicle. Unlike the, you know, we have wheeled vehicles in the high tiers, it's really difficult to drive it. This one is much more fun and not really hard to, you know, drive it. So overall, I put it in not bad, not useless, and even can be in okay workable category, but still it struggle as there is LAV 25. LAV 25 or LAV 25. This vehicle, we just talked about it. It is a little bit better than the LAV 150 because it has the double feed system and it shares almost everything identical between the LAV 150 and LAV 25. Wheeled vehicle, really fast, has a drone, has a 50% damage reduction, so much fun. It cannot leave the tier 1 and tier 2. It's play so much identical by surrounding the enemy targets. So it is just fun vehicle and it shares really good things, but it's the double feed system and the penetration as a start and at MK3, that is the big advantage on the LAV 150. So I put it in okay workable category because it's so fun, so amazing. I really had so much fun when I started the game. I bought this vehicle, I think the first vehicle I bought it. It was so much fun. So I put it in the C rank, okay workable. Let's move on. Next we have CM25. This vehicle has a really good mobility and has 50% damage reduction, and it has a machine gun that is just like any machine gun, not really reliable, I mean, but it can intercept any jets and helicopters. That's really decent. But the strong points about it, it has a missile. At MK3 it has a missile that can penetrate to over 900 millimeters. This is really amazing about it. But the problem is it's just a missile, not a shell. It can be easily intercepted by, you know, machine guns of the enemy tank by firing at the missile, and it can be destroyed. So I don't know where to put it exactly. So yes, it can play at tier 3 by the missiles it has at MK3 because, you know, the 900 millimeters of penetration. So I put it just in okay workable, not much more. I don't think it's deserved much more than that. Yeah, that's what I think. Tell me in the comments if you think it should deserve a better place or not. Let's move on. XM800T. Yes, the name looks really amazing, but the vehicle is trash. Why is that? Because the machine gun, it cannot be upgraded. It has 95 millimeter of penetration, and you don't have more than that. Yes, it has a really good mobility, even if it's not wheeled vehicle, but it doesn't have a 50% damage reduction, so it's gonna be destroyed easily. And the HP point, as you see, the HP pool is only 20,000 as a start, and it doesn't has anything that's unique to this vehicle. Doesn't has a drone or something like that, so it is just bad. And I mean, stay away from it. That's all. Next we have M113A1 FMS AIFV. This vehicle has 50% damage reduction and it covered with all the vehicles, so it cannot be destroyed easily. And it has a drone, it has a machine gun, but the machine gun, as we all know, it's not really effective. So you need to use the strategy. We all talk about it in all the vehicles, that you need to surround the enemy tanks and fire on the sides of the enemies or the rear of the tank. But the problem is it doesn't have the mobility to do that strategy. So basically this machine gun is useless. So it can sustain in the battlefield, but what the point if you don't do the damage? So I put it in not bad, not useless. That is the best category because it can do good job at tier 1, but after that it can do nothing. At tier 2 or tier 3 it cannot do anything. That's why I put it in the D rank, not bad, not useless. Let's move on. Next vehicle we have BRM-1K. It is so similar to the BMP-1, but it doesn't have a missile. It has the 50% damage reduction and it has identical gun. So it's so similar to it, but it's just like a cheap version of the BMP-1. So why would you buy this vehicle if there is BMP-1? So overall, it's a good tank or a good vehicle, but why would you buy it? So I just put it in not bad, not useless category at the D rank. So let's move on next. WZ-211. This vehicle, you get it once you get to level 5, I think, if I remember correctly. This vehicle doesn't have any damage reduction. It has just a gun and a machine gun to intercept helicopter and jets. The problem with it doesn't have any armor, so it's so similar to PT-76B. So I just put it in the same category, bad, trash vehicle, because you need mobility. It doesn't have enough mobility. Yes, the gun is decent, but it's not something like impressive. So I just ignore it. In my opinion, this vehicle is a little bit better than the BT-76B, but still it is in the trash category, or let's say make it better, let's say in the bad category, E rank. So let's move on. M41 Workable Bulldog. This is the first tank you can purchase once you play the game. It is the first in classification of tanks, of course. So it is decent tank. It has a really good gun. That is what make me really like this tank. But other than that, it's really struggle. It doesn't have a 50% damage reduction, and the armor is almost non-existent. Everything make it not so much reliable. I mean, if the upper plate of the tank has a little bit of more armor, such as like 30 millimeters or 50 millimeters, it will be a really great tank. And also the ammo rack is located in the front of the hull of the tanks, or the body of the tank in the front. That's make the tank really weak. It cannot sustain in the battle so much. Yes, it's good as a start, but later on you will struggle a lot. So I don't recommend you to upgrade it a lot. It's good as a start, but later on you have to just keep moving on and move for a better tank. So I just put it in okay, workable, because the gun is really amazing. You can do a lot of damage, and as you see here, one missile, ammo racked, gun. That is the problem. So let's move on. Type 61. It is so similar to Bulldog. We talked about it previously. It has a good gun and also a really good mobility, but also it shared the same downfall of the Bulldog, such as the armor. It's not so much reliable, and it doesn't have the 50% damage reduction, but at least it cannot be destroyed easily. The ammo rack here is much more stronger than on the Bulldog tank we have, so it's a little bit better than the Bulldog, but it will not make it to go in higher category because I put it in the same category, okay, workable tank at C rank. That is my opinion, or that's what I think it should be. Now, if you have any question about which tank should you buy next, or which one, why would you buy it, please consider to just leave a comment. And if you're watching till right now, please consider to join us. So let's move up next. T114 Bat. This vehicle at tier 1, it is really amazing because it has an auto loader, 3 shells, then it can reload again. It has also a machine gun, but the problem of it doesn't have any armor. But what's make it up for this tank, it is the penetration of the shells it has. It's really powerful, and also the potential of it, because you have 3 shells and the module damage it has, it's really powerful. I mean, who missed the video that I made about challenge playing tier 1 vehicles at tier 4? I have destroyed a few tanks with this vehicle at tier 4, man. Can you imagine a tier 1 destroying a tier 4? That is how much strong this vehicle. But remember, no armor, no 50% damage reduction, so it's really squishy and not easy to play this vehicle. It is not recommended for beginner, it is more for pro players. That's why I recommend you to play this vehicle once you acquired the knowledge of the game and how to play sneaky and try to hit your targets without anyone noticing. So I put it in the B rank, a good category. That's according to my opinion. So let's move up next. T55A. This tank, it is the first tank in our list that is a real tank, that considered a real tank, because it has a good armor actually. The front plate is really decent, and also the turret is really decent. So it is the first one that you can say possible to purchase it, because the ammunition it has, it's really good. It has an APHE and also HE. So overall, it's a really decent vehicle, but you have to play really smart. You don't need to, I mean, all the tanks you have to play smart. Don't show your sides or rear. You have to always be straight front of your enemy. Don't make yourself in an awkward position, or don't know what's going on or on your surrounding. So I put it in the good category, B rank. That's what I think, and that is what should it deserve. So let's move up next. WZ120. It is just a copy of the T55A. It's so similar. I tried many times in the stats to read it and compare it to each other, but it is so similar. Both of them are really newbie friendly, and you can easily purchase one of them. So similar, and overall they are really decent tank. This one also deserves to be in the good category, B rank. It is also a noob friendly, and you can purchase it. Of course, you have to keep in mind, don't show your rear or sides. Always keep the front of the tank front of the enemies. So let's move up next. WZ121. This tank is almost same as the other two tanks we talk about. It has almost the same armor, but the difference between this tank and the other two, that is, the gun is a little bit different. Here we have more packing power a little bit, but in just return you have to lose a little bit of penetration. So here we have less penetration but a little bit more damage. So if you are wanted the difference between all of these tanks, the only one little bit unique is this one. You have much more damage but a little bit less penetration. So it's depend on your choices if you want more penetration and or you want more damage. It depends on your choices. But they are three brothers. They are so identical, so similar. That is the only difference between them. It's little bit on the WZ121. So I put it also in the good category, B rank. So let's move up next. BMP1. This vehicle has 50% damage reduction, and it has a machine gun. Yes, it's not much reliable, but at least it have it. And it's so similar as the BRM1K. We talked about that vehicle previous, but at least it have a missile. This missile has, I think, if I remember correctly, like 400 millimeter of penetration, so it can fight in tier 2 and even at tier 3 because it can penetrate a lot. And what makes this vehicle unique? The more upgraded, of course, it will be much more sustainable in the battlefield. But after all, it's just a tier 1. And the good thing, because all the vehicles at tier 1, it doesn't need a lot of things to be upgraded. So it is really fun. And I play it even till right now. I mean, I have level 50 and I still enjoy this vehicle. I mean, if you see, this vehicle has a special to me. I mean, as you see, I have added a few camo on it by myself. That's how much I like this vehicle, because it's so agile, and it has a missile, and the gun itself is really great. And after I got the slot armor on it, it cannot be destroyed easily. So I put it in the good category, or let's say B rank. That is what I think it should be. So let's move up next. WZ120C. This tank, it is just perfect, man. It has a really good gun with heat ammunition and HE ammunition. The HE ammunition, it is not HE, so it has a good penetration and it can do a really good damage. The heat ammunition, we all know, it always have a really good penetration and it has really high damage, high model damage. And I remember in one of my matches I destroyed a tier 4 tank. It was a VT, if I remember correctly. One shot and the tank is blown up, destroying the ammo rack. This is how much strong this vehicle. And as a noob friendly, this is the first tank you should acquire. Why is that? Because the armor, yes, the whole armor is only 180 millimeters, but the reactive armor is doing its job, and you don't need to understand the mechanism of the game really good, because you don't need to angle. The reactive armor is doing its job and more than that. And also the mobility is decent. It has a machine gun, so everything is packed up in this tank for noob friendly, and I recommend any new player to joining the game to get this tank. It is, I think, 1,800 gold, if I don't forget about that, or I remember it correctly. So you can get it after playing the game for like 2 weeks or 10 days after doing missions and winning few matches. So it's not really expensive, and you can acquire it for sure. So I put it in the really good category, A rank, really deserved. One of the best tank for noob friendly. T54E1. This tank is really beast. It has an autoloader, 9 shells that make this gun really deadly. It has heat ammunition and it has a really high model damage, so it can destroy most of the tank with one shot by destroying the ammo rack. And the armor of it, it's decent. It can bounce few shells sometimes if the enemy is not upgrading their tanks or don't have the, let's say, MK2 or MK3 ammunition, so it can bounce a lot of shells, and it's a really amazing tank. But the problem with it, once you have the knowledge, the enemy will notice that it has an ammo rack that is really easy to be destroyed, and it is in the front of the tank, in front of the, you know, the wheels, so it is really easy to be countered. Even after using the slat armor, unfortunately it doesn't cover the ammo rack, so it can be easily countered even if it has a deadly gun. But are you lucky enough to destroy it by one shot? That is the question. Sometimes you destroy one shot and it is gone. Sometimes it's gonna cost you many tanks to destroy this tank. So where you can find this tank? You cannot find it in the purchase, and no one can see it. This tank been acquired by the players who pre-registered in the game before it's hitting the market or the Google store or or the App Store. So whoever pre-registered got the tank, and sometimes, like me, I got the tank by an offer. I saw an offer to get the tank by real money. It cost me €3, so it's up to you. Sometimes you will find this bundle. For me, it is well deserved for €3, because only €3, because I got the tank with the 3,000 gold for €3, and it was a really good deal. So it's depend on your wallet. This tank is really amazing, and it really deserves a really, let's say, really good category at the A rank. I don't know about your opinion. I'm not gonna put it in the overpowered or something like that, because once you understand the game, it will be easily to be countered, and there is much more deadly tanks in the game. So let's move on. Now the last tank in our list is T55 AMD1. This tank has a really good armor, almost like 400 millimeters of armor in the frontal of the tank, and it has a reactive system, so intercepting any missiles that coming towards you. Even that I don't use it a lot because it's not much more reliable. I mean, I can intercept the missiles by using the machine gun, but it can intercept a few shells also sometimes from time to time. So it's really amazing feature in this tank. And also it has a night vision. You can see through smoke. So it has many things that make this tank really unique. Now the downside between this tank and the WZ-120C, for example, this gun is not really powerful enough like the WZ-120C. It doesn't have a good penetration and good damage, so it's a little bit decent. I put it also in really good category, A rank. It is a really amazing tank, well deserved to be in this rank in my opinion. So I think it's really decent tank also and really deserved, but you need a little bit of knowledge to always keep in mind. Don't show your sides. This tank is a little bit ammo rack meme. It's get destroyed a lot by ammo rack, so it's, you have to be a little bit more cautious about this tank. It's better to play it much more safe, so I don't recommend you to acquire it. It's better to acquire the WZ120C first, then you get this tank after understanding the game a little bit more. It is really decent, really amazing, really strong, but after you get the WZ120C as a beginner only. So let's see the list together. As you see guys, this is my tier list at tier 1. Tell me in the comments, do you agree with me? Is there something you don't agree with me? What do you think? Is it right or wrong? What would you add? What would you remove? Tell me in the comments. Of course, each one has its own opinion, so let's share it together. Hope you enjoy guys. See you next time. Bye bye.